Hey again, guys. He's Rise here with Bacchanalian, and we are about to see CVA fight Outbreak in what looks like a pretty good match. CVA doing an amazing job last week, bringing all Conid setup. They've switched things up big time, and Outbreak is always pretty solid. So, what do you think of what we have on the field right now, Bach?
Well, Outbreak's brought a fairly standard setup we see these days of EOS triple Gila, double Ishtar, Maulus, triple Flycatcher, and two burst Logi. Meanwhile, CCP has come in with Sleipnirs. They have two Sleipnirs. They have the three Gila, Scimitar, triple Worm support, Crow, and two Merlins to go with that. So it should be a really interesting matchup. Those Flycatchers against Worms, it's kind of those are pretty dangerous ships on both sides. So.
Yep, and both teams have kind of done the same. Come in at max range 50k. The angle wasn't too far off though. They should be 60 or 70k from each other to start things off. We're underway now. You see Damps flying across from the Outbreak side, covering that CVA team, which is actually really bad news for the Sleipnirs. We're used to seeing the drone damage, which doesn't care quite as much about Damps, but Sleipnirs of course do. Neither team charging towards each other. It looks like CVA kind of staying put while Outbreak starts to move down and away from CVA.
You know, that is the challenge with the artillery Sleipnir idea, is the Sleipnir lock range natively is actually pretty low. I think it's around 50 kilometers, so you throw Damps on that thing, and it's really going to be struggling. We see the first burst on the Outbreak side taking quite a bit of shield damage, just getting some reps, but he looks like he's taking more damage than he's getting reps.
Yeah, which is definitely interesting. It looks, I'm checking the drone, seeing some warriors on the CVA side. Some Valkyries have made their way over into the Outbreak team. Those are probably where that damage is coming from. On the other side, Outbreak has dropped a lot of sentries actually. Some Curators were down, at least for a while. I see Hammerheads there now as well. No real significant damage happening yet. Teams inching a little closer to each other. We see an Outbreak Gila pretty close and a little bit separated from his team towards the CVA, who are staying really, really tightly grouped up.
Yeah, I haven't seen those Sleipnirs fire their guns once yet. I've been trying to watch to see if there's going to be artillery or AC. I'm having trouble noticing, but yeah,
they are guns live now. Looks like ACs.
Yep.
That Gila doing a really nice job. The one that was positioned a little closer, pulling CVA in a bit, but not getting in a really bad spot yet, at least. Doesn't look like they're interested in him. Maybe CVA thinking here they want to make a dive for those bursts if they're able to.
You know, if you're bringing into two AC Sleipnirs, you're going to do an awful lot of damage if you get up close and personal. That first Sleipnir of Sten Madsen is starting to take damage on the CVA side. Getting repped without a whole lot of problem. Palamon's Gila, meanwhile, just taking a whole bunch of damage. All of a sudden, you see drones around him. He's obviously the first primary.
Yep.
And, yeah, shots out of him.
He was that one out front. It looks like both those Sleipnirs just turned straight towards him and started burning. He is taking damage, but hanging in there fine for now. You can see he has reps from their bursts for the time being, at least, despite the Damps being on the bursts. Looks like they can at least mostly tank the damage for now. Have to see what happens after range gets closed a little bit more.
Sten Madsen Sleipnir, meanwhile, about half shields. Pulling back, I can't tell if it's ASB or Scimitar or both, but he is tanking. He's a little ahead of that Gila, but actually now he's taking more damage than the Gila. This is going to be damage. This would be really trouble for CVA if they lose the Sleipnir here this early. He's now into armor. We've had the first burst go down on the Outbreak side, though, so perhaps they'll get through that Gila a little faster. The Sleipnir into low armor, pulling back shields little by little, but he's going to be in structure very shortly, and here he goes. Second burst down now. Second
burst down. They chased that Gila into the middle of the Outbreak team and then turned onto the burst whenever they got the opportunity, but they lost a Sleipnir in the process, putting him right in the center of that Outbreak team where he's exposed to all their damage. But Logi down, so they now have freedom to pick away at this Outbreak team.
They need to translate that into a Gila kill here before they lose anything else. That Scimitar is starting to take damage, the Worm is taking damage, but that Gila now into structure. If they can get that, they get back ahead. The Scimitar needs to hang on a little bit longer. They need to maybe get that Ishtar that they started focusing on down before.
Outbreak Gila down, and he went down quick. If they're able to continue to burn Gilas down that fast, they might be in pretty good shape, even though it looks like their Logi's in pretty tough shape himself, although you can see here he's burning away from the field, and that's really good news. The drones will have to chase after him, and it'll take at least some extra time for them to kill him and leave all those geckos positioned way away from the fight. In the meantime,
interesting is the EOS of Nasty Spanker is just burning straight away. He's at 100 kilometers. The Ishtar of Pisces into armor now. He's going to go down. The Crow of CVA might also die.
Wow, Ishtar and Gila going down really fast for Outbreak. In the meantime, Scimitar doing just fine. He pulled away from most of that DPS and like I said, left it stranded way away from the fight. He's now sitting on top of an MJD beacon as well, so he could make another big move with that if he wanted to. Gila about to drop for Outbreak, heavily tackled, taking lots of damage. CVA looking really strong.
Yeah, but Gila is down now. There's a Gila of Ice Gorilla on the CVA side taking a fair bit of shield damage as well, but yeah, Outbreak is just losing ships left and right here.
Ishtar tackled for Outbreak. Web Scram, those worms doing work, catching ships, and Slipner making his way there. Damage should start coming in on that Ishtar pretty quick. And Outbreak struggling to get anything done. They got that Crow down through armor, but he's been refed back. They're doing some damage to a worm, probably trying to peel tackles off of their DPS ships to keep them alive, but it's not working.
There's a Flycatcher right now, too. This is one more anti-support ship off the field. The Ishtar Spartan Dax, meanwhile, he's about to go into armor, and these are shield tanked Ishtars. He's ASB. I saw an ASB fire there. But a couple more volleys, he's into structure. We have 5 minutes on the time. The Scimitar for CVA is into armor, but at this point, there's only really an Eos and a Gila left doing damage. He'll go down, and perhaps the Merlin Wong with him, but CVA have this well in hand at this point. They really have to make a huge mistake to lose this match.
CVA looking so good, doing a lot with creative setups last week, and then coming in and just using something fairly standard to really good effect against a really strong team, Outbreak. And they did lose their Scimitar, but at this point they can afford that. I mean, he did an amazing job chewing up time on all that DPS from Outbreak with those drones chasing him around. And at this point, there's so much left on the field for CVA that it's going to be incredibly tough for Outbreak to do anything. Their EOS now tackled. He's headed into armor pretty quickly here, and they just have almost nothing left.
Yeah, really they have 2 ships worth of damage left, the EOS and the Gila, and the Gila's, or the EOS, I should say, is low armor now into structure. He'll be down in just another volley. The Mollusk starting to take damage. Meanwhile, Ice Gorilla's Gila, who looked for a while like he was going to be in trouble, is just happily hanging on at half shields. We see one of the worms now is starting to take some damage from his tackling job, but that's really what they're there for. That Mollusk is into structure and going down as well.
Yeah, a couple of those worms got a little beat up, chasing around and getting webs on stuff. But I mean, yeah, just cleaning up now. Really, really well flown by CVA, I think. This looks like a pair of setups where it could really have gone either way, depending on piloting and FCing. And if that's the case, CVA really deserves a lot of credit. They did an amazing job here.
Yeah, they should have no problems cleaning this up. They may just have to run some ships down, may lose a frigate or 2 in the process. But there are GFs going in locals, so.
I'm wondering about the choice to use Frigg Laju. It seems like actually we've seen Frigg Laju not do so well against standard logistics ships, at least today in the last couple of matches. They're a little risky in terms of boundary violations. They're also really vulnerable, as we saw in this match. They get pulled in close because of the damps, and then you just get one chance to switch over your DPS, and they go down super fast. Whereas the Scimitar used so much time up.
That's the thing, you're not going to get volleyed off the field in a Scimitar unless you come up against a full alpha comp, and even then it's probably not going to happen. In a frigate, really, it only takes one lucky shot, and there's the match. There's one lucky shot, and your frigate's gone. So congratulations to CVA on a fantastic display. Yet again, just a very strong match from them.
Yeah, awesome stuff from CVA. We'll see them in the winner's bracket, and Outbreak has to go down to the loser's bracket and try to fight their way back. So one more match today. Hydra Reloaded coming up in a few minutes. Stick around for that, guys. We'll see you then.